Hey guys, so in this video we're going to talk about igneous rocks, okay? And we're going to sort igneous rocks into two different categories called extrusive and intrusive igneous rocks, okay? So real quick, just a quick reminder, igneous rocks, these are rocks that formed from magma or lava that cooled down, okay? So essentially what we got here is rocks that were at one point liquid form, right? When we have magma or lava. And then over time, that magma and lava cooled down and solidified and became an igneous rock. And I always remember igneous rock because it comes from the word ignite, which, you know, if you ignite something, you light it on fire. And that's exactly what we got with igneous rocks, right? It's super, super hot rocks that were liquid, right? Magma, lava. And then they eventually just cooled down and solidified. All right, so we have two different categories of igneous rocks. We have extrusive igneous rocks, which are rocks that cooled quickly on Earth's surface. So since they're on Earth's surface, that means most likely they erupted from a volcano and they cooled quickly. And if you remember when we were talking about crystals, when crystals cool down quickly, the crystals don't grow quite as big, okay? So when we have extrusive igneous rock, we're usually not gonna be able to see crystals. Not without a magnifying glass or microscope. And since they have no crystals, they're either going to look very dull or they're going to look glassy. You'll see some examples of that. Or they're going to look vesicular. And vesicular, if you remember, that just means that they have holes in them. All right, because as that magma or lava was cooling down super quick, gas got trapped inside there, right? So like oxygen, carbon dioxide. And then as that rock started to cool down, and solidified, the gas started to escape a little bit, and it did leave little air pockets, little holes in that rock behind, okay? So those are gonna be three things that we're looking for today when we're trying to find extrusive igneous rocks. Is we're looking for no crystals, it's gotta be glassy, or it's gotta be vesicular, okay? It doesn't have to be all three at once, just one of the three. Then the other type of igneous rock is intrusive. And what makes this different from extrusive rocks is intrusive rocks cooled slowly inside the earth. So it's easy to remember, right? So intrusive cooled inside the earth, and we know the inside of the earth is really stinking hot. And because it's hot, it's going to take a while for that magma to cool down and solidify. Since that magma is cooling down slowly, that means the crystals are going to have a lot of time to grow, and the crystals are going to be visible without a microscope or magnifying glass or anything like that, okay? So I'll show you a real quick example of extrusive igneous rock. Got one right here. This is just a rock called basalt. As you can see, it looks kind of dull and boring, but again, no visible crystals really. No visible crystals, so we know that this thing cooled quickly. Crystals do not have time to grow, so we would call this extrusive, okay? On the other hand, intrusive, piece of granite right here, you can see the different crystals, right? So we got the mica, the black mica, we got the feldspar, we got the quartz in there. You can see all those crystals clearly, so we know that this one cooled slowly inside the earth, all right? We're gonna go through 12 examples. What I want you guys to do is on a separate sheet of paper, I want you to write down samples 1 through 12, and I want you to figure out and think on your own if you think we have a extrusive igneous rock or an intrusive igneous rock, and then we'll go through it together at the end, okay? So, put these away. Okay, let's look at our first one right here. What do we think? All right, first thing I notice is I can clearly see the different minerals in here. We have feldspar, that black stuff, that's smoky quartz. It's a type of quartz. So our crystals are pretty big. So what do we think here? I can easily identify them. Okay, next one, right here. I can't see crystals. All right, it does have a really smooth feel to it. Almost feels like glass. To be honest, it kind of looks like glass. What do you think? Third one. This is incredibly light. This would actually float in water because it's so light. It has so many holes in it. Makes it super light. What type of igneous rock has lots of holes? Okay, next one. You can see the different crystals in there as I move it around. And another key thing to remember when we talk about igneous rocks is the crystals seem to be in like random patterns. They almost look to be polka dotty too. Right? This is a salt and pepper rock, as I like to call it. Okay, so we have visible crystals. So what kind of igneous rock is this going to be? Right here. Saw one just like it a second ago. Right? We have the visible crystals. What type of igneous rock has visible crystals? All right, so this one right here is going to be our number 5. Okay, number 6. Again, what do we think? Can we identify the different crystals in here? All right, I see the pinks. That's going to be feldspar. The clear, that's going to be quartz. You might even be able to see some of that yellow I'm kind of pointing to right there. It's going to be mica. So we can identify individual crystals. What kind of igneous rock is that going to be? Okay, this one right here, again, no crystals, just kind of boring and dull. What kind of rock would that be? Number 12, I can see different crystals as I move them around. See them reflecting the light. Yeah, this is called gabbro. All right, next one. What do you think here? First thing I notice, a lot of holes, right? What type of rock has a lot of holes? Next one. Again, a lot of holes. It's vesicular. So what type of igneous rock is vesicular? Next one. Don't worry about that side. But again, this one feels super smooth. It looks glassy. What are we thinking? And then last one. Kind of a cool looking rock. But again, can you see the different crystals in here? Can you identify the different minerals? I see some feldspar. I see some mica. If I can see those different crystals, what type of igneous rock must it be? Okay. So hopefully we're jotting those down. We're going to go through these real quick and we're going to explain why each type of rock is either extrusive or intrusive. Okay, so this guy right here, since I can see the different crystals, the different minerals easily, okay, so I know that this is quartz and I know that that's feldspar. The crystals are large, it means they had a lot of time to grow, so they must have cooled slowly. And we know that intrusive rocks cool slowly. Okay, so this is going to be intrusive. Right here, no crystals. Okay, it has a glassy look to it. It's glassy, so that means this one cooled extremely fast. That means it's got to be extrusive. Because extrusive rocks cool very fast. Right here, this rock, we got a lot of holes in it. Okay, and no crystals. I don't see any crystals. So that tells me that this one, again, cooled very fast, didn't have time to grow crystals, so it's extrusive. Came from volcano. Fourth one, we talked about seeing the visible crystals on here. That means the crystals are large enough for us to see. They had enough time to grow. So it must be intrusive, cooled inside the earth because it cooled slowly. This one right here, I can see the individual crystals. I can tell you, I can point them out, right? We got mica, we got feldspar, we got quartz in there. Crystals are large, easy for us to see. This will be intrusive. This one should be easy. Think back to the first one we talked about, right? I can see the individual minerals, the different crystals in here. I can see the quartz, I can see feldspar. I can see the mica. Mica's a little bit smaller, but I can still see it. This is also going to be intrusive because the crystals are large. I'm able to see them. That means they must have had a lot of time to grow. So they grew inside the earth, intrusive. Super boring rock. No crystals, dull. We know that extrusive igneous rocks did not have a lot of time, did not have a lot of time to grow crystals because it cooled fast. So this one right here is going to be extrusive. Okay, sliding down. Next one. Visible crystals. Don't have to explain this one further, I don't believe. Lots of time to cool down. Crystals are large enough for us to see. It's going to be intrusive. Grew inside the earth. This guy right here. Lots of holes. That means air was trapped in it, so it must have cooled down very fast to trap all that gas in there. This tells me that we have a extrusive igneous rock because of all of the holes. Same right here, right? We have a ton of holes in this rock. Gas got trapped. That means it must have cooled very quickly in order to trap all that gas. All right, so this is extrusive. This guy right here, again, no crystals, glassy look, glassy feel to it. That's gonna make this one extrusive. Crystals did not have time to grow. Instead, it just was very smooth, and it's actually a really hard and really sharp rock too. And then last one, we look at this rock and we see different crystals. You can see the mica in there, and you can see the feldspar. That tells me that we have a intrusive igneous rock because the crystals had lots of time to grow and they're large. All right, now you're gonna have to go onto Google Classroom and identify different rocks and let me know if they're igneous or they're all gonna be igneous, but let me know if they are extrusive or intrusive. All right, hopefully this was helpful. Thanks.